Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands! Here.
1033 at 1521 hours.
What is your reason? Step out now. No, don't forget.
Put your hands up!
It was Philippe Mahungar, a drug lord who ran a pound 165-meter cocaine network across the UK, who had been arrested on a 7-kilogram shipment from Derby to a secret delivery point. He was on a routine silent delivery, and the hunt was on. There was no resistance, no noise, just a simple arrest on a deserted road. It was the first breakthrough in the operation to dismantle Britain's biggest drug network that year, which began with the decoding of EncroChat, a system that had been thought unbreakable. Why did someone as good at hiding as Mahungar reveal his tracks? How did an empire that operated without a gunshot collapse with just a text message? Join me as I step into the heart of this case and relive every crazy moment that shocked the UK. Philippe Mahungar, 45, lived in seclusion in Derby in a modest house. No fancy cars, no signs of wealth. But it was from that house that he ran a pound 165-meter cocaine network operating like a professional logistics system. Without violence or weapons, Mahungar ran the drug empire. All lines, transactions, communications went through encrypted devices, mainly EncroChat, which remained completely invisible for more than a year, until the system was cracked. Shaswant Kajula, 41, was the operating brain of the network. He designed the routes, scheduled the movements, arranged the pickup and drop-off points, coordinated a series of transactions from Luton to Derby and other cities such as Coventry, Nottingham. Everything was smooth on time without leaving a trace. Manraj Yohal, 32, acted as the chief accountant of the line. He kept detailed records of every order, every profit, every penny of cash, all neatly organized on electronic spreadsheets. Every figure was coded and reported directly to his partners in Dubai, as if this were a transparent financial company. On the transport side, the brothers Basharat and Barar Iqbal, legal taxi drivers in Derby, used official vehicles to transport cocaine and cash across the UK. Marvin Johnson was in charge of transporting heroin. Shai Connell was disguised as a delivery man, and Jermaine Callender was caught red-handed with a whole load of heroin in her hand. On the financial side, Nimrat Bajia was arrested in London while counting more than £530,000. The money was classified and tagged with a code. In Derby, Manveer Singh ran the office that handled the money, collecting it from all over, dividing it up, and preparing it for redistribution. The drug trade in Philippe Mahungar's network was designed as a discreet and efficient supply chain. The supply was imported directly from Dubai in high purity, then brought into the UK and distributed by seemingly innocuous means, such as real taxis, hired cars, or hand-delivered at carefully calculated rendezvous points. The cocaine was not stored for long at any one point. Instead, it was hidden in sports bags, car boot, or in temporary rented apartments called offices. These places only acted as short-term transit points, avoiding storage as much as possible, so as not to attract the attention of the police. Everything was calculated, precisely allowing the goods to move silently through many cities without leaving a trace. All communication in Philippe Mahungar's network was tightly controlled via the EncroChat encryption system, a tool they believed was impenetrable. Instead of using their real names, members used pseudonyms, shorthand codes, or tokens to identify shipments and delivery people. Even seemingly random details in photos sent via chat, like curtains or a dog in the corner of the frame, are used to confirm locations and people. This network does not rely on violence or threats. It operates like an underground logistics business, quietly, precisely, and extremely professionally. It is this silence and lack of ostentation that allows the network to survive for more than 400 days without being detected. The cash flow from each transaction is not thrown around or hidden roughly, but is classified by identification code clearly recorded in detailed spreadsheets. Each pile of money is assigned a token code to be checked against the corresponding shipment. It is worth noting that this network does not use shell companies, does not launder money through crypto, but operates like a transparent internal accounting system until everything is exposed. The first clue came in April 2020, when a courier left a residential address in Derby, carrying an ordinary-looking sports bag. But the police were waiting and the hunt was on. There was no resistance, no noise, just a simple arrest on a deserted road, but it confirmed everything they suspected: the shadowy network was real. Inside the bag were 7 kilograms of cocaine packaged exactly like the images the investigators had obtained from the EncroChat system. From the EncroChat decryption data provided by the European agency, the British police suddenly had in their hands the entire operational map of the network. Not just the messages, they had the identification codes of each package, photos, confirming the delivery location, detailed spreadsheets, recording the revenue, the quantity of cocaine, the names of the sender and the recipient. Each transaction had a token code and illustration, like an underground electronic logistics system. From there, the police traced each link. The seemingly invisible network gradually became visible layer by layer. The raid was planned like a military operation. Once every link had been identified, the police launched a large-scale raid. At dawn, dozens of special forces simultaneously surrounded suspicious locations from Derby to Luton, from London to Nottingham. No sirens, no gunshots, just doors being smashed open in an instant and control calls echoing in the darkness. Inside, the police found exactly what they had been waiting for more than a year. More than a ton of cocaine and heroin, millions of pounds in cash, tokenized like bank ledgers, discarded EncroChat phones and spreadsheets, detailing every gram of the goods. 18 suspects were caught in just a few hours, bringing down a £165 million drug network. This was no longer a hypothesis. This was living proof, a fatal blow to a secret logistics empire that had operated in silence. And the police had won step by step without firing a shot. In January 2022 at Derby Crown Court, the atmosphere at the trial was unusually tense. After 408 days of investigation and 4 separate trials, Palip Mahunger's entire criminal network, which had operated as a complete logistics business, was laid bare before the law. Prosecutor Gareth Wheatman opened by laying out the picture: an industrial cocaine network run by encryption, with an average turnover of £400,000 a day. Not a street gang, but a modern criminal enterprise, closed, efficient, and silent. Every transaction, every parcel was recorded in Excel spreadsheets, with unique identifiers, authentic photographs, and a clear flow of money. This was not a gang of anarchists, Judge Jonathan Bennett said. This was a model of corporate crime, operating like a national logistics company, hiding drugs in every legal itinerary, operating with discipline and silence. After days of arguments and cross-examination, each defendant was sentenced. The court handed down heavy sentences to reflect the scale and organization of the operation. Palip Mahunger, 45, who ran the entire network from Derby, was sentenced to 18 years and 3 months for organizing the importation and distribution of cocaine on an industrial scale. Shaswant Kajula, 41, who was responsible for scheduling deliveries and organizing meetings with suppliers in Dubai, was sentenced to 15 years and 3 months. Manraj Yohal, 32, who recorded every transaction and sent financial reports to Dubai, was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months. Manveer Singh, 33, who managed the central warehouse in Derby, where the cash was collected and the drugs were sorted, was sentenced to 13 years. In the middle group, Michael Kareem, 36, a wholesaler in Nottingham, who spent lavishly on the profits from the drugs, was sentenced to 10 years. Mohammed Shafi, 38, a driver and drug courier caught with weapons, was jailed for 12 years. Basharat Iqbal, 46, a taxi driver caught with 3 kilograms of cocaine and 20 pounds 0-inch cash, was jailed for 7 years and 9 months, while his brother Barar Iqbal, 44, who was also involved in the transport, was jailed for 4 years and 9 months. Nimrat Bajia, 26, caught counting 530 pounds 0-inch cash responsible for legitimizing the cash flow, was jailed for 7 years and 1 month. Kelly Williamson, 57, a wholesale buyer in Nottinghamshire, was jailed for 5 years and 3 months. At the lower end of the network, Joseph Davidson, 41, who distributed both cocaine and heroin, was jailed for 10 years and 2 months. Nathaniel Kymore, 39, transporter and money launderer, sentenced to 7 years and 5 months. Ranjit Sandhu, 49, courier who transported cocaine, sentenced to 6 years and 10 months. Jermaine Callender, 44, caught transporting 1 kilogram of heroin, sentenced to 3 years. Shai Connell, 38, used a courier company cover to transport heroin, sentenced to 7 years and 9 months. John Castledine, 63, cash counter, who despite his mental health problems continued to participate regularly, sentenced to 7 years and 3 months. Adil Sadi, 35, substitute accountant who collected and distributed the money, sentenced to 4 years and 7 months. Marvin Johnson, 41, head of the heroin branch of the network, sentenced to 11 years and 6 months. In total, 18 defendants were sentenced to 167 years in prison, marking the complete collapse of a seemingly impregnable drug empire, all exposed by coded messages they thought would forever remain beyond the reach of the law. The Palap Mahunger case was shocking not only because of the huge sums, pound 165 meter worth of drugs, but also because of the almost silent way it operated. No street gangs, no guns, no visible bosses. The network operated like a typical logistics company with taxi drivers, accountants, cash counters, all ordinary faces with no notable criminal records. This was a wake-up call for the authorities about a completely new model of crime. No need for violence, no need for bragging, just tight structure and security technology. The decryption of EncroChat opened a rare window into the network, from order codes, photo verification, to detailed profit spreadsheets. The lesson is to break up new networks. It is necessary to combine financial behavior tracking, electronic transaction monitoring, and especially not to underestimate seemingly anonymous individuals. A network that doesn't require violence can still manipulate markets, and sometimes an Excel spreadsheet is more dangerous than a gun. Mahunger's case is just a leaked version of an increasingly common criminal model. No name, no gang color, no blood trail. They can easily be recreated with new people changing communication tools, from EncroChat to another encrypted platform. The scary thing is, silence is the ultimate camouflage. People like Mahunger don't need to live in the shadows. They blend into everyday life, living as good citizens in the community. We're used to imagining drug criminals as guys in hoodies standing on street corners. But the reality is much scarier. It could be the guy holding the door open for you in a taxi, the logistics worker making a delivery, or the young accountant entering data into a laptop in a quiet office. The ultimate question is, would you notice when the whole network is operating right next to you? The biggest lesson from this case is not just the pound 165 meter figure or the years of jail. It is the fundamental change in the way criminals operate. They don't need gangs. They don't need guns. They don't need bloodshed. The only thing they need is silence from society and people who don't ask questions. Ask yourself, if such a sophisticated drug network can operate for 408 days without anyone around them noticing, how many other companies, how many other normal people are quietly doing the same thing? And when every trace is encrypted, every line is broken down to the point where no one knows the whole story, will we still be able to see anything before it's too late? If you found this case thought-provoking, leave a comment below. What do you think was the key to bringing down such a sophisticated network? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on further analysis of drug crimes, underground gangs, and shocking investigations in the UK. Because the real story is just beginning.